Hi, my name is Russell, and this is my informative speech on COVID-19's effect on the marketing capability and financial growth of the video game industry. Video games, whether you like them or hate them, are good at them or suck at them, you're probably aware of its significance in the consumer market. Many researchers believe that the video game market might actually overtake the movie market in the entertainment industry in the near future. But in times like this, you would expect that the video game industry would be much like other industries, with companies going bankrupt or shutting down. But in reality, it's actually the opposite. So not every one of us might be a game developer or really care about big businesses making more money, but it may be interesting for you to learn about how and why the video game industry has been faring off much better than other industries have been. Though despite much success, COVID has still created some complications for the video game industry. And with that being said, I would like to cover the effects of COVID-19 on the financial growth and marketing capability of the video game industry. So let's start off with how the video game industry has been doing financially throughout the pandemic. So with people being encouraged to stay indoors, many individuals turned to video games as their form of entertainment, as they couldn't go to large gatherings anymore. And because of the increase in people staying home, the video game industry saw large increases in the amount of sales and the subscriptions to their services, one of them being Microsoft's Game Pass service, which according to a journal on the impact of COVID-19 on the video game industry, exceeded 10 million subscribers. That's 10 million people paying every month. So many video games saw a large increase in their player bases, which is the amount of players playing the game, some reaching millions of concurrent players, which also increases the sales of the in-game transactions. But now let's actually check out the statistics of how these companies are doing financially. So several massive video game companies had their stocks rise throughout the pandemic. According to a research article titled Accounting Index of COVID-19's Impact on Chinese Industries, big video game companies like Electronic Arts, Ubisoft, and Activision, to name a few, all reached high sales of products and exceeded $1 billion thresholds in the year 2020 alone. And while not all big video game industries or companies saw massive increases in their revenue, the majority of them at least increased their stock values. And so, the journal I mentioned earlier, Impact of COVID-19 on the Video Game Industry, also reported that Steam, a video game platform, had a 25% increase in their active user base, so from 4.4 million to 5.5 million in the year 2020 alone. And as many of us probably know, China has one of the biggest consumer markets in the world, so obviously the video game companies want to take advantage of this market. In a data graph from a research article representing the impact COVID-19 has had on Chinese industries during the first quarter of 2020, the sports and entertainment industries had the highest rank with a value creation index of 298.75. And video games are a part of the sports and entertainment category, so the video game industry has been doing pretty well in China. So the financial growth aspect of the video game industry has been doing pretty well, as you can see. But now I would like to cover the marketing capability that was an aspect that took a lot of damage from COVID-19, especially to the smaller video game companies. So when looking at the marketing capability aspect, smaller indie developers took far more damage in their ability to promote their products than the big companies did, or big companies are also known as the AAA companies. And they took more damage because of their smaller budgets and because of their smaller levels of fame. And so one of the more notable reasons for this amount of damage to them was due to the cancellation of major video game industry events like E3, which provided developers from all types of sizes the opportunity to advertise their products to a large audience. And now, with that being canceled, these developers may not be able to achieve the sales numbers that they want. But AAA companies, they don't need to worry about the cancellation of game show events like E3 because they already have the amount of popularity to promote their own products themselves. They don't need these game show events. But the smaller indie game developers won't always have easy access to the public like the AAA companies do. So today we discussed how COVID-19 has affected the financial growth and the marketing capability of the video game industry. And it seems like the industry is going to do just fine and push through COVID-19 as the revenue is higher than ever, though not every video game company was a winner during the pandemic. It's not surprising that these industries have been managing very well throughout the pandemic. After all, everybody loves to play a game and sit back every once in a while and just forget about the imperfections of the world.